Green Bay Packers running back Josh Jacobs could be facing 18 months in prison, and we've got thoughts on all of the Thursday preseason games on today's NFL Six Pack.
This is Locked On's NFL Six Pack. 6 bold takes from 2 guys who just flat out know football. NFL experts Matt Williamson and Brian Peacock bring pure NFL talk. Great takes, no fluff, just honest football talk. Crack one open. It's NFL Six Pack on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to the NFL Six Pack. Brian Peacock alongside Matt Williamson talking preseason football. Some standouts from all of the Bills, Steelers, Niners, Raiders, Rams, Chargers, Browns, Patriots football games. And as we start to put these preseason games in the books and get ready for week 1 of the NFL regular season. The first story, though, today, Matt, is there is now video evidence that corroborates what we've known has been a story about Josh Jacobs and an incident, a domestic incident with him where he was charged with 2 misdemeanors stemming now from an arrest in May. Jacobs was originally booked on 5 charges, including felony strangulation, but now faces reduced charges of misdemeanor battery and criminal damage to property, as well as the original felony charges are now reduced to misdemeanors. So it was 5 charges, including felony strangulation. Now misdemeanor, 2 misdemeanors, and there is video evidence apparently that corroborates the story, which is the big part of this now. Josh Jacobs, there's video surveillance footage. This is Ari Mirov. I'm going from his Twitter that kind of summed this whole story up for us. Surveillance video from Packers running back Josh Jacobs' garage confirmed the relevant portions of the account that his girlfriend, I believe his girlfriend, right, told police Jacobs grabbed her as she tried to leave, threw her to the ground, and she struck her head. The video specifically shows her on the garage floor, Jacobs taking her phone, then returning about 40 seconds later and appearing to damage it. If convicted, Jacobs faces up to 18 months in prison. So the felony charges, now misdemeanor charges, still doesn't mean that there's some major hot water for Josh Jacobs if convicted on this. And obviously that doesn't count what the league could potentially do as well, as far as suspensions and what the Packers could potentially do if they just don't want him around anymore at all.
Yeah. So I just recorded a Locked On NFL with Wig, and we kind of go around the Locked On network, and Peter Bukowski laid out the situation similar to how you did. And in the end, Peter thought, well, there's definitely some sort of suspension coming, a minimum of 2 days. And I don't want to speak for him, but he also thought, man, there's a really good chance that Jacobs doesn't play another down with the Packers, that they just flat out release him and move on from him. And then when we came back from the vid, Wig was like, it really reminds me of the Ray Rice situation. I mean, by all accounts, and I don't know Ray Rice, I'm not defending Ray Rice, but he was kind of a good citizen. This was someone he ended up marrying. They've had a great life together. It was an isolated incident. But all that being said, it's still intolerable. And I don't think Rice had any other touches in the NFL after his incident. I don't think he ever got a shot, or if so, he never saw the field. Could Jacobs be in the same situation? I think that's possible. And legally isn't necessarily my wheelhouse, but football is. And I think Marshawn Lloyd has shown quite well in his stead. And when he's on the field, I think he can be a productive running back for you. But his availability has been a huge problem since he's come in the league. And I'm a little shocked Green Bay hasn't done more at this position. I also have a lot of questions about their O-line. I think it's sneakily one of the worst ones in the league. And it just feels like you're going to put a lot of stress on Jordan Love to win the game through his arm.
On the Jacobs thing, yeah, having the video, seeing the video is the biggest thing here.
Yeah.
And if if the video's bad and you see it like it was in the Ray Rice situation, and I haven't seen video, this is just accounts of what is on the video for Josh Jacobs. If you see the video and it's vicious like it was in the Ray Rice situation, then Jacobs is probably done.
I would think.
If there's no video, though, I think that potentially there will certainly be suspensions, but that maybe he could play again. That's probably just generally knowing human nature and what the Ray Rice situation was like, and knowing this situation so far. Once you see it, it just changes everybody's opinion.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I also think his age doesn't work in his favor either. If you're going to side on taking a chance on somebody that has this stuff going on from a football perspective, I'm not saying he's shot. I mean, I think he's still a really good player, but he's certainly deep into the back nine by running back years too. So he might be less attractive for a team to make him a feature ball carrier.
If he hasn't touched the ball for a year on top of it.
Yeah, right.
And certainly if he goes to prison for 18 months.
Right. Then it's definitely over.
Which is probably less likely that does the maximum of what could potentially be, right? They'll plead down to something or whatever. But there is potential that it could be up to 18 months.
I'm not convicting the guy. I don't mean it that way, but doesn't look good for his chance of coming away innocent in this situation. No. Just from what you read.
Right. But it doesn't feel that way at all. And so the league's certainly going to come down. And what we do know is that Josh Jacobs will not be starting the season with the Green Bay Packers in the backfield. Marshawn Lloyd, Chris Brooks, Jaden Nixon, rookie undrafted free agent. They got Pierre Strong. It starts to get pretty light.
Yeah, it's pretty lean.
They didn't do much there, and they kind of leaned down some of their other skill guys as well, even though you like what they ended up with. And again, like you mentioned, the offensive line. So weird.
No Parsons for a while. I can see the Packers. We look at the division and we
put it this way: with no Parsons, the Packers are not one of the best teams in the NFC, and potentially
third, no matter what,
third at best in their own division.
Even with Jacobs and I think without Parsons, they're third at best in their division. That's kind of where it's going to go. This seems like a division that you could almost predict any order and not sound crazy. I know Minnesota is probably the longest shot, but as fourth place teams go, that's a pretty darn good fourth place team. Just laying it out like we did, worst case scenario, if Parsons is out 2 months and the O-line's troubling and I don't really like the corner position and Jacobs is totally unavailable, I'm definitely going to pick them for fourth place in that division.
Let us know. I want to hear from the listeners. What do you think the Packers are right now? Because I was pretty bullish on the Packers. Maybe part of it was our guy, Peter Bukowski of Locked On Packers, had him on the show when you were on vacation, Matt. And he was very pro Packers. He painted a really nice picture for them, and I was believing it. But just knowing a little bit more about the timeline of Parsons, offensive line, it's really big, man. But they still can be a very good football team. Don't get me wrong. So
you hope Kraft is ready for week 1. Yeah, we haven't quite got verification.
He's going to be on a pitch count from what I understand.
Yeah.
Even if ready in week 1. So that's
it's a lot on Jordan Love.
But can he handle it?
I think he can.
I want to see him be asked to do more.
Yeah.
So maybe they come out even better. Maybe he's ready for that.
I'm a believer. Maybe you get through the rough waters and then it's smooth sailing because Love stepped up and you're like, whoa, he's a 6th best quarterback in the league.
We're going to get to our biggest takeaways. Not a lot of big-time players played in these last preseason games, but some teams did have some starters out there and some teams non-starters, some young players, some rookies really shined and looked fantastic in their final tune-ups for the regular season. We'll get to those takeaways next. Today's episode of NFL Six Pack is brought to you by Home Chef. Life gets busy, man, and figuring out what's for dinner every single night can quickly become just another thing on the to-do list. And Home Chef takes the stress out of mealtime by delivering fresh ingredients and easy-to-follow recipes right to your door. Whether you're looking to eat healthier, maybe save money on takeout, or simply spend less time grocery shopping and meal planning, Home Chef makes meals and cooking at home simple, convenient, and enjoyable. Home Chef offers more than 30 meal options every week, including calorie-conscious, GLP-1 friendly meals, So there's something for every schedule and lifestyle, and people really love it. Home Chef is rated #1 by users of other meal kits for quality, convenience, value, taste, and recipe ease. And for me, it's the convenience. You don't have to worry so much about having things ready to go for dinner. You can watch the waistline while you watch the pocketbook and have something ready to go quickly. That is fantastic. So for a limited time, Home Chef is offering our listeners 50% off and free shipping for your first box and free dessert for life. Just go to homechef.com/lockedonnfl. That's homechef.com/lockedonnfl for 50% off your first box and free dessert for life. Homechef.com/lockedonnfl. Must be an active subscriber to receive free dessert. Let's get into some of these takeaways from NFL preseason football. One of the games featured nothing but field goals. You can imagine how awesome that game was for 4 quarters. But I do have some takeaways from 49ers Raiders that I was watching very closely. And I know you were watching Steelers Bills very closely, doing pre-games, post-games. You got home at 3 a.m. Eastern time after
That's my time I head hit the pillow after doing the post-game and then coming back here and having to record another short podcast and then finally unwinding a little bit. That's about it. So quick question for you, because both of our teams' preseasons ended. Not exactly with a roar. Did it make you really ready for regular season? I had enough by about the second half of the
you get into the fourth quarter and it's like, can we just start the podcast, the post game now? Can we can we get on with some real actual football? I do like that the 49ers though have that early game in Australia, so that really shortens the window from the final preseason week 3 games here and when the season actually gets going. So there's a couple early games early in the week in week 1, which I do like, and it kind of gets you going for NFL football a little bit earlier than waiting for everything to kick off on Sunday. Some young players making their debuts though that were a little bit dinged up earlier in the preseason, and I thought there were some players that really showed out in this game. I think the 3 players I would like to highlight from Bills Steelers on the Bills side is wide receiver Skyler Moore, who looked dynamic in this one.
Bell.
And Skyler Bell, excuse me. Yep. What did I say?
You called him Skyler Moore.
Well, that is a weird one. Okay, Skyler Bell. And then on the Steelers side, Jeremy Bernard.
Mm-hmm.
He's thick. He's mean. The Steelers, some young Steelers receivers hadn't stepped up, and it was probably really nice to see what he looked like. And then the rookie first rounder, who we both loved pre-draft, Max Iheanachor, that big young man, athletic, getting out there and playing. So what was the takeaways on the Steelers side here of specifically Jeremy Bernard and Max Iheanachor, and then anything else you want to get into here from the Steelers and Bills contest?
Yeah, I mean, as previewing the game, it was first round picks, first game ever. So, I mean, that was a big selling point to try to watch this one, as well as the second game in a row where only Aller and Howard played. No Rudolph, no Rodgers, and everybody's intrigued with them, especially Aller, Penn State guy, big, strong, strapping fella.
Mm-hmm.
And both quarterbacks were fine. I mean, they were better than they were in week 2. They weren't as good as they were in week 1. Progression's not linear. They were throwing to some really bad receivers, and it was JV night for sure.
Still Howard ahead of Aller?
He started.
Okay.
Yeah. This is, you're going to sound crazy to you, but I bet they keep 4 quarterbacks. I think that's the way it's going to go.
Did Howard come down with an injury?
He is being evaluated for a head injury. He got smacked it off the turf like on the very end of the first half.
Because I wouldn't be shocked at all.
Could kind of work to your favor.
Yeah, the injury list makes that really easy and tidy because Howard seems like he would be the one to go. I personally would say Rudolph, but
I would say Aller and Rodgers are not going anywhere.
Right, exactly.
If one's going to go, it's one of those 2.
Right. But an injury list designation really helps you numbers wise, and then you don't lose a quarterback unless someone comes calling with a trade for somebody.
Even if it's just a short term, he makes the original 53, put him on IR, and then you pull him off in week 4 or whatever. I brought that up as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Iheanachor, I'm infatuated with, and I kind of have a reputation around here because I called my shot that I thought their first pick, actually pat myself on the back here, before the draft I said I think their first 2 picks will be Iheanachor and Bernard. And so a lot of people didn't know Max around here, and so I'm kind of tied to him. And watching him in practice, I was even more infatuated. Being around him, I was even more infatuated. I've heard Greg Cosell, I think it says he moves like one of the great ones. Like I've heard Teron Armstead comparisons, just physically. And when you're next to him, wow.
Looking at his workout numbers, it's Teron Armstead, it's Trent Williams.
Yeah,
maybe not quite there because Trent Williams' workouts were freaky. He ran like 4.79 or something. But it's like that's the territory you're talking about, where not a lot of guys are that big that can move like that.
Yes, and in this game, it was at least his first series that I'm like, oh no one's ever going to hire me in Pittsburgh again because he's a disaster. Holding penalty, missed block, immediate sack. It just looked like he was a deer in headlights right off the bat against backup DNs I'd never heard of.
And right tackle only for him, right?
Right tackle only. It's the only place he's practiced. And then he started to look like, oh, okay, I'm starting to get this again. And Dancing Bear and all the movement stuff. And they have Broderick Jones and Cook are the two that are fighting for the right tackle job. Neither have been good in the preseason. If it was up to me, even though he's done very little, I would just throw Max in the deep end and say sink or swim, and we'll put Darnell Washington next to you because he's immensely talented. And if anybody's that interested in it, I retweeted something that another Steeler folk put out of just all his pass block reps from last night. First couple aren't great, and then you're like, oh, yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, he got out on the move on the Jeremy Bernard play. And was it a screen pass to Jeremy Bernard? Or
there's just a quick bubble that Bernard broke a tackle and really physical, took it to the house. Not a super long distance, but several instances you see Max downfield, weaponizing him, getting him in space at 335 pounds. It's frightening.
Yeah, and even if it's not week one, he's going to
it's
be
inevitable
eventually. Right.
Yeah.
And so that's good to know that, he kind of figured it out and, took a couple lumps in his. Alex Boone used to play for the 49ers and does some podcasting stuff. He actually trained with Max Iheanachor and talks him up about how awesome he is. He trained with him in the offseason.
Okay.
But he also said the one thing that he had a question about is this is a dude that came from another country that also played at Arizona State, and he went to Pittsburgh. Like December games, January, it gets cold. Like, what's that going to be like for him? It might be a little bit. It's
not Africa or Arizona, I can tell you that.
Yeah. So cold weather. We'll see how he fares then. But I think Max Iheanachor eventually he's going to be that guy at right tackle. Obviously, for the Steelers, a little setback there with the injury, and then Jeremy Bernard has looked the part through camp and
very much
in this game. Like very Debo-esque what I saw from the highlights.
Professional, really knows where to be. Rodgers trusts him, which is a huge thing around here. Obviously, you have to be in the right spot. I don't spend a lot of time on this, but the camp battle, and McCarthy's a heavy 11 guy, is for the third receiver is Bernard or Roman Wilson. And I don't even think it's close. I think Bernard's a much, much better player. And frankly, I had a tweet saying I would look to replace Roman Wilson. And for whatever reason, that went viral, thinking I didn't say cut Cam Hayward or, cut Jerry Rice.
TJ Watt,
But Roman Wilson didn't dress yesterday. And I couldn't understand. I can't believe that he's guaranteed a roster spot or is clearly ahead of Bernard, because to me, Bernard's clearly the better player.
It's interesting because I've never seen anything from his career. And he didn't play his rookie year at all, right? And
he's been in and out of the lineup. He runs the wrong routes too often. He's small and he plays small, but he's been good in like OTAs and 7-on-7 stuff.
Interesting. Okay.
So I don't know.
Skyler Bell, man, he was one of my pre-draft favorites, and I was really excited to see him play. The Bills didn't play anybody, right? So there's not takeaways, but
they made him like the number one receiver and threw him the ball a ton and really featured him because it was his first game too.
Yeah, first game. He made plays on all levels, then had a touchdown run where he looked dynamic with the ball in his hands, where they handed him the ball in the backfield and he took it around the corner and turned on the Jets. So that was really fun to seeing him catch the ball all over the place, run after the catch. He's going to be a problem, and I think he's going to be a fixture. But again, he's got some guys in front of him like Jeremy Bernard does with the Bills and they're all kind of slot Z receivers too.
I know.
And he's another one. And it's like, who's going to play the X? You got Joshua Palmer and then a bunch of Z slot type guys. So Bell is a little bit blocked once the season gets going, but I'm sure they were excited about what they saw.
They should be. And he really checked all the boxes. I liked him a lot too, coming out of UConn. Thought he went a round or two later than he should have. And it's only one game, but I also remember watching the college tape. It wouldn't shock me if he's their third receiver behind Moore and Shakir before long. So those other guys, Coleman and those dudes, don't blow you away.
Yeah, Coleman, I think, could still be traded.
Yeah,
by the next time we do a podcast.
I've lobbied for the Steelers to trade for him. The Steelers hired the Bills wide receiver coach this offseason.
Oh, maybe that's not why they're not trading for him.
Well, that would say a lot too.
Possibly.
Yeah.
You just want to see the guys look like the scouting report and see the things you saw in college. And sometimes, like, Bernard even looks bigger. It's like, I remember he was big.
He actually added some weight.
Did he? Okay, because something about the way he's like, this guy looks like a monster out there.
Yeah, he is a big, physical, hard to tackle guy.
Some rookies passing the test. Let's talk Niners Raiders.
Yep.
Rams Chargers. There's a trade with these Los Angeles Rams, bringing back Tutu Atwell, and Browns Pats as well. Notes next. Today's episode of NFL Six Pack is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. There are certain flavors that instantly feel like summer. And you better go quick because summer's coming to an end. It's about to be fall and NFL season here. But man, the weather is hot here in the Bay Area in California. August is a big summer month, and we do get our hottest weather right now. So those classic colors for a lot of people, red, white, blue, freezer pops. You know what I'm talking about? Right at the top of the list of making things feel like summer. Sweet cherry, lime, and blue raspberry. It's one of those nostalgic summer flavors everybody recognizes, and now 5 Hour Energy is bringing that flavor combination into the new Firework Freeze 5 Hour Energy shot, blending sweet cherry, zesty lime, and electric blue raspberry into one refreshing shot inspired by those iconic summer freezer pops. And you know, there's standard flavors of 5 Hour Energy as well. I go for the grape. Matt, were you was it watermelon for you or sour apple?
Sour apple's high on the list for me.
There you go. You go grape, you go sour apple, you go Firework Freeze. You can find them all and ignite your taste buds with the flavor of summer. Get a Firework Freeze 5 Hour Energy shot today. And for more information, visit 5hourenergy.com. By the way, man, 5 Hour Energy probably would have helped you out last night. Some of these late preseason games, the Niners and the Niners kicked off at 7 p.m. Pacific time, which is 10 p.m. Eastern in some of these cases. I know it's going to be weird timing for some folks around the world when we go international with some of these games. 5 Hour Energy is crucial. Is crucial for some of those events as well, especially the older I get, man. I used to be a night owl, an extreme night owl. And these days, man, 9 p.m. start time for a slow pitch softball game. And I'm like, I don't have energy right now. I need something to pick me up. And usually it'd be like breakfast practically for me at that point. Niners Raiders. I think the big thing in there is just we got to see a lot of Fernando Mendoza this preseason because we're not going to see him when the regular season kicks off. The Raiders going about things a little bit differently than some other teams like the Niners. The Niners started maybe a couple of starters, and that was because they're still battling for those spots. The Raiders started everybody. So got to see Kirk Cousins, got to see Fernando Mendoza. I did not think Fernando Mendoza looked as good as he's looked in previous games, especially going against twos. He threw an interception where he tried to thread the needle between the linebacker and a safety, and he got it a little bit high, got tipped up, and it got picked off. Just a little bit off, 7 of 14 passing there. So, he's a rookie, and you could see it wasn't anything damning or anything like that, but you could see why they want to go with the veteran for a little while and just make sure Fernando Mendoza is 100% fully ready, because when you make that switch, you don't go back.
I have no I obviously didn't get a chance to see this game or very little of the other games because I was glued to Steelers, Bills, and the post-game show. Although during the post-game show, I did watch the 2 LA teams were on, and I really like Ty Simpson. I'll bring him up in a minute. But yeah, I think it's clear, and I got no qualms with it at all. Start Cousins for now. Figure it out as the season goes on. From what I read, Mike Washington, again, though, just keeps showing up as a big, strong force. It was to the point because, what's funny is coming into this game, this is the most and least injured team in the NFL. The Raiders had one player, Aston Genty, on the injury report. The 49ers led the league with 25
players on the injury report. So
I assume they didn't play Bowers, but like basically everybody else.
Bowers played too.
Did he really?
Yep. Bowers was in there. Everybody was in there. And but Mike Washington looks really good again, ripping off big runs. He is explosive, has a little bit more lateral than I expected and remember.
I thought he was real straight line, but I thought the same thing with the preseason.
And I think it's more patience than anything else. Like he's shown some patience and willing to like have some vision and wait and then explode. 8 carries for 49 yards, 6.1 yards per carry at a 13-yarder. It's, he's passed every test. And it was to the point where with Ashton Genty out, you're like, well, you don't want to get Washington hurt. You probably just take him out of the game. And so he was getting very starter treatment. It's like, get him out of here, man. And so anyway,
maybe not rush Genty back.
The Raiders offensive line is sneaky good and sneaky bad at the same time. I don't know what to think about it, but they're really deep. And we always talk about
they've invested in it for sure.
Yeah. And we always talk about how you can't find offensive linemen. Like, I bet teams are calling the Raiders because they have guys that are useful, that are backups, that are battling for spots. And Jackson Powers Johnson, for a team, like, I feel like he could be available because it feels like he's battling for a spot when you'd think he'd just be, no doubt the starter at guard. They brought in Linderbaum, so he's not going to play center. I think he prefers to play center.
I think he does too.
I wonder if somebody might be available there from the Raiders on the offensive line. Because they're for a bad team, they're one of the few teams in the NFL that might have a surplus of offensive linemen.
Yeah, I just pulled up draft history to double check, but I mean, Trey Zune in the 3rd round this year, Caleb Rogers, who I think projects as a starter 3rd round last year, Charles Grant in the 3rd round last year, and then Powers Johnson in the 2nd round the year before, and Jamar Chase in the 3rd round, or Glaze in the 3rd round also the year before. So
Glaze, yeah.
They're all been day 2 picks, but 5 of them over 3 years. Not to mention Colton Miller and Linderbaum. So, right. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot there to work with. I commend teams for doing that. I mean, you prepared to put Mendoza in the nest,
I love it. Yeah. And looking at, I lost my train of thought there on the Raiders offensive line. But anyway, I like the way they're building that. And, Trey Zune was the one. So Trey Zune was playing center in this game. He played right tackle in the first game. So he might back up every spot on the Raiders offensive line, which again, that versatility allows them to maybe do something somewhere else if they felt the need.
That's a great start to his career too, of just be the utility guy.
Yeah. And I think he was bad the first game at center, or was it guard? So game 1, he was really good at right tackle. Game 2 of the preseason, he was kind of iffy on the interior, I believe, or maybe that was at tackle again. And then this game, he was at center, I know for sure.
Okay, he replaced Linderbaum.
Yes, yeah. And played quite a bit. On the 49ers side.
Last note, I think that offense, if Mendoza hits, that offense is one Tyler Smith or one
Jeremiah Smith. Yeah.
Jeremiah Smith away from being awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or the dude who went to, Coleman, who went from Auburn to Texas.
Yep.
Yeah, you get the 4th pick in the draft. You take one of those two. I'm like, oh, baby, this could be like one of the best offenses in the league.
I'm with you. Yeah. I'm with you. And, some of those offensive linemen still developing too. But once you're there, man.
Grow up together.
Yeah. 49ers, again, they didn't play any starters, but there's a battle going on. Some mid-round picks is probably where well, first of all, let's talk about the running back situation. Looks awesome for the 49ers right now.
At Williamson NFL wanted to ask you, because there's a good chance McCaffrey's his 1st-round pick. Is Black the clear handcuff at this point?
Black is probably the number 2, and he kind of won the job. He's looked awesome, but he won the job by default because Jordan James had broken ribs, and Jordan James, 2nd-year running back, made his debut in this game and also looked great. And so the Niners are really set with their 1, 2, 3, but there was really no competition. James started as the number 2 in camp, and then once he got hurt, it was Black, and then Black came in first in this game. So Kalen Black is RB2 for the 49ers. Yeah, and looks awesome.
Okay, so they're pretty set in the running back room though.
They're set. Left guard Carver Willis, the rookie, might win the job, but I'm a little worried about the offensive line because it's banged up, and Enrique Cruz, the 5th rounder, has been really raw, and he's the 3rd tackle right now. And if I thought he was going to get cut as a 5th rounder early in the preseason. He played the entire game wire to wire at left tackle. they might have to have him play. And if Trent Williams gets hurt, you have rookie raw left tackle with a rookie left guard and Myles Garrett in week 1. If something happened to Trent Williams in that game, it could go south quickly on the offensive line.
It sure sounds that way. Yeah. Again, a lot of faith in the old all-time great, but he is old.
Which is why I talked about. I was like, well, the Niners just need to take one of those offensive linemen with them out of Las Vegas. But
there you go.
Speaking of trades, Tutu Atwell got traded back to the Los Angeles Rams, Matt. It was rumored that there was room for him to leave the Miami Dolphins because of, can you believe that Chris Bell might be ready to play?
I know. Now? I think that's remarkable, and I'm so excited about it.
Insane. But Tutu Atwell traded from the Dolphins to the Rams for running back Jarquez Hunter. So there you go. And as far as this Rams-Chargers games, the only 2 takeaways I have, I wasn't able to watch as much as I wanted to of it, but the quarterbacks, watch out. I mean, it's hard not to get excited when you see Justin Herbert drop back and throw a 65-yard bomb that looks way too easy with his new offensive coordinator there. And I know it's against backups, but that's fun to see and what that could be in Mike McDaniel's offense with the Chargers. And then Ty Simpson has looked awesome this preseason.
Awesome.
Certainly shutting up folks like me that were hating on the Rams for taking him that early in the draft.
Yeah, again, I was hosting the post-game show that goes way into the night and not many callers, kind of hoping for it to get over. Not a great game to talk about, but LA versus LA was on the TV in the studio. I couldn't keep my eyes off Ty Simpson. Like I've seen him a couple times in the preseason, but looks very twitchy, very comfortable. Had a great highlight throw roll into his left where he's like falling out of bounds, throws a laser for a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Twitchy's a good one. Like you want players to look like the scouting report, as we mentioned earlier. And he looks like, man, it's like there's something there with him. Like the ball flies out of his hands, him making that play. Like
he looks like healthy early in the year Bama guy, not the banged up fighting 10 injury Bama guy. That's
true. That's true. And that can affect the evaluation if you're watching a banged up guy who's not 100%. So interesting. It's still, not the biggest guy, but
No, but he moves around well and he had a really good feel for things. And I've been very impressed.
He's looking like Brock Purdy out there.
A little bit. Yeah. It's a good comparison, actually.
Where are we at here? Cedric Tillman.
Yeah,
2023 third-round wide receiver, and clearly there's room for wide receivers to be moved from the Browns. I feel like they were probably trying to trade a different guy or him and couldn't find anything, so it looks like Cedric Tillman's going to be released there from the Browns. So a player that I think should definitely have a chance to stick on another NFL roster here as cut-down day happens. But then
I like him a lot. I hope there's no injuries involved because he has had some things.
Yeah.
And
then
he's also not a special teamer.
As far as the Browns-Patriots game goes, I've got 3 players to highlight. And one, how about Dylan Gabriel saying, how come I wasn't part of this quarterback competition? He was 5 of 6, I think, on one drive. He was 12 of 15 overall, 3 touchdown passes.
Yeah, again, I didn't see a snap of this, so I'm not going to pretend. But the highlights were Gabriel was really sharp. A lot of people talking about, like you said, why isn't he at least in the mix? I mean, it's not like he has, great guys in front of him.
And then Taylor Green, a 30-yard run where when you see him open it up, you don't see quarterbacks move like that, man.
It's what he does is rare. I don't know if he's going to be a quarterback or whatever, but I think all 32 fan bases should wish he was in their organization right now and just see what happens.
So the Browns, I feel like, maybe they just keep 4 quarterbacks. At some point, do you try to convert Taylor Green? Did you see enough that he stays at quarterback? Maybe you can find a suitor for Dylan Gabriel, or maybe you got to cut Dylan Gabriel. I don't know, but
I don't know. But I bet they keep 4. There. I wouldn't let go of Gabriel or Green for nothing.
Yeah. And they didn't, and the Browns didn't start any starters, so not a lot of players of note that were in that game aside from those quarterbacks that we mentioned. On the other side, who's got a new opportunity, and we talked about it after the Kayshon Boutte trade. Kyle Williams,
I like him too.
45-yard touchdown bomb, and that's something he can bring. I'm excited for Kyle Williams. I think it opens up a perfect opportunity for him. But again, this is a team that didn't start a lot of. It seems like the coaching staff is out on him because he hasn't gotten a chance to do much in his NFL career, and he's playing with guys that might not make the team.
Yeah, so I have high hopes. I mean, like, he's one of my favorite dynasty stashes for sure. His time's going to come at some point. Maybe it's not this year. Maybe he's just a field stretcher at this point. I think Matt Harmon called him like the most sacrificial X he's ever seen in his rookie year. Just clear out. But that's
Cardio
start.
King. Yeah.
Yeah. Cardio King.
There you go. Those were our takeaways from preseason Thursday. We've got a lot more to cover when we reconvene after the weekend with the fallout from the waivers that will be and the cutdown day that will happen on Sunday. And Matt and I will have it all covered for you right here on the NFL Six Pack.